Good morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee and Chat with Hallee Bridgeman. I'm so happy you could join me. I have my cup of coffee in my Ridgecrest Conference Center mug because that's where we were all last week at the Ridgecrest Conference Center it's outside in Asheville, North Carolina. I actually think it's in Ridgecrest. I think that's the name of the city. But like if you leave the campus, you're in Black Mountain. So it's always beautiful there. I came to you live there last week, and hold on, I see comments. I forgot to click comments where I could see. Good morning, Erica. Hi. I'm back live. I'm back to normal, sort of. I don't think Facebook has opened me back up, but at least they've removed the restrictions. So anyway, yeah. So we were at the Blue Ridge Mountains Christian Writers Conference. My husband and I, Greg, own a publishing company, and one of the books that he edited and published, A Stand for Truth, won a Selah Award, which was a really big deal. That was by John and Harriet Michael. So we were really thrilled. We came out of there just flying as normal as you are. That's just because I'm weird. You only say that because I'm weird. So that was very cool. But here's on our way there, we stopped to have breakfast with Kaylee and her new fiance. So here is Kaylee and Alex, and happy engagement to them. We're so excited for them. He proposed on last Friday. He proposed. We had breakfast, or no, last Saturday. Yeah, he proposed last Friday. We had breakfast last Saturday. They had a party Saturday night, but we weren't able to stay for that because we were headed on to North Carolina. So we were able to stop and have lunch with him and with his parents and her, and it was beautiful and wonderful, and we're so happy for them. And then coming back, we were able to stop and spend the night with her and start talking about having a wedding. We knew it was coming. They've been dating 7 years. We knew it was coming on his end. He had contacted us to let us know what date, but we didn't want to talk about it yet. So now it's like we're suddenly free to talk about all these ideas that we have, and Kaylee, is starting to plan now and looking for a venue, and she wants us to cook. She wants us to, self-cater it. She doesn't want a cake. She wants macarons and mini cupcakes, which all of that is incredibly easy. She doesn't want anything extreme or wild or fancy. She just wants like this wonderful experience with a big party, which is exactly what I would, give her advice to do if it was up to me. And since it's not, I'm really thrilled that she's doing it anyway. So then we went to Ridgecrest and we had a great time there. Greg and I each taught separate classes at the same time. It was so funny because as we were walking through the cafeteria on the first night, I got stopped by 5 or 6 people. Oh, it's so good to see you. I'm really looking forward to Greg's class. Oh, it's so good to see you. I'm really looking forward to Greg's class. It was so funny because I was teaching against him. So all those people who were friends of mine who were really looking forward to Greg's class weren't coming to mine. But that's okay because they sell the recordings of the classes. And so I taught, it started on a Sunday. I taught Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then we left Thursday afternoon and got to Kaylee's and spent Thursday night. So that was fun. So now back to it. I have been up since 4:30. It's 9:30 now, writing all morning. And I have another couple of hours of writing before I end my day. However, I wanted to answer a question. And the question is, why 50 Shades of Gravy? I want to get it to where you can see it in the light. Okay, so this is my cookbook. It's very hard to go opposite of where you think you ought to go, because in a mirror, if I went this way, it would go that way. So, okay, 50 Shades of Gravy. Why 50 Shades of Gravy? Let me tell you a story. So long ago, back in the day when there was a certain book that was fan fiction from the Twilight Saga, back in 2012, 2013. So it was Christmas of 2012. And I had published sapphire ice, greater than rubies, emerald fire, topaz heat. And I was working on getting ready to work on a melody for James. And we were driving across the mountains in Maryland, and it was really bad snow. And we were basically going from Kentucky to West Virginia to my parents, or coming back from my parents. Either way, we were visiting family for Christmas. And it was snowing really bad, and the heat on the passenger side of our van had gone out and was blowing ice cold air, but we had all the kids in the back of the van, so we couldn't turn the heat off. So the passenger we were like blocked it with a sleeping bag and wearing boots and blankets, and it's freezing outside. And we were taking turns. We were switching off about every half hour, one of us to drive and one of us to sit in the freezing cold. And so it was my turn to drive, and we had stopped to trade off drivers, and there was a book rack in one of those Amish country stores, and on the book rack was a book titled 50 Shades of Grace. And it was 50 devotions. And Greg said, "Oh, I wish we had thought of that. That would have been a perfect book to counter this secular, thing, the secular phenomenon." And so then I'm driving, and it's nighttime, and it's cold and snowing. And I thought Greg had fallen asleep in defense against the cold. And suddenly he sits up and he says, "Gravy." So clearly he's been thinking 50 Shades of. He said, "Could you come up with 50 gravy recipes?" And at the time, I was still Hallee the Homemaker. I was still blogging regularly as Hallee the Homemaker. And recipes were something that I came up with all the time. I tested recipes. I made recipes. I found recipes and made them my own. And so I was like, I can try. I mean, he didn't need to explain what he wanted. I knew what he was talking about. And so I've got to tell you, at like 46, I was sweating it because I didn't think I could come up with any more recipes, but I did. 50, this is actually 50 gravy recipes, and it's a devotion. So in the beginning of it is I guess it's not at the beginning. Yep. So while the title of this book is a parody, this is actually a cookbook. And then I talked about our food philosophy, why we eat the way we eat, and why in the red eye gravy, which is gravy made out of coffee and bacon grease, we don't use pork bacon, we use beef bacon. I explain all of that. And this cookbook is a purposeful parody of a piece of fiction that glorifies the kind of unbalanced dominance and submission that leads to pain, abandonment, and forced non-consensual sexual acts and brokenness. While it is a parody, the very serious and very real fact is that there are real people all around us who desperately seek tranquility and truth in this world, and who instead fall into the trap of pain and bondage in the vain hope that suffering will fulfill their quest. The world promises that a total surrender of the pleasure pain promised by the flesh will free us, but the Bible warns us that such will only further trap us. The good news is that Christ can free us from all of our bonds. He is the bread of life. Accepting Christ into our lives brings with it the Holy Spirit, and the Spirit brings us love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So that's part of the devotion in the beginning. And then at the end, there's an actual invitation. And it talks about how to get to know Christ as the person who will release you from your bonds. And so that was why we created it. This was our purpose in putting this cookbook together. It was 50 gravy recipes. I published it, and then I got slammed by the Christian mommy blogging world. Nobody was happy that I published this cookbook called 50 Shades of Gravy. And what I think that they thought was that I was using this horribleness to profit. And we created our own imprint, the House of Bread. See the HB with the cross on it, House of Bread imprint. And our intent was to parody something in the secular world and then counter it with the truth. And so the next cookbook I did was The Walking Bread, The Bread Will Rise. And then the next cookbook was Iron Skillet Man, The Stark Truth About Pepper and Pots. And then the next cookbook was Hallee Crock Potter and the Chamber of Sacred Ingredients. And in every one of them, we tackle this untruth, this myth inside the secular world, and counter it with Christ. But in the meantime, provide recipes and helpful tips and tricks and all of the things that come with a good cookbook under the House of Bread colophon. And so that was why 50 Shades of Gravy. It was, it has now become very popular. At Christmas, I sell a lot. And the more cookbooks I have written, the more I sell at times of like Christmas and Father's Day and stuff. Here's the Hallee Crock Potter one. I love this one. There we are. Okay. Hallee, JK, just kidding, Bridgeman. And then see, this one is much thicker than 50 gravy recipes. There's a lot more than 50 recipes in this one. But anyway, so that's why 50 Shades of Gravy, that kind of launched this cookbook theme that I have going on. The next one I'm going to do is frozen or freezing. I'm not sure what we're going to call it. I'm sure that you can guess what I'm going to parody with that one. And I'll talk about the way they're pulling men from being heroes in children's entertainment. And so anyway, that's why 50 Shades of Gravy. I'm really thrilled that was Greg's idea. I'm thrilled that it was something that I was very, very much on board with, because it's become very popular and very exciting and gets a lot of laughs when I pull it out. It no longer gets any kind of, if anyone still is all judgy about it, they don't tell me. They used to tell me quite openly. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. I'm back to work. I need to finish this third book in the Love and Honor series. I'm hoping to finish it by the end of this week. And I will see y'all next Monday. God bless you.